Hello, welcome to 304 Epps Street in downtown Tomball. I'm Gene Johnson. I'm the Texas Home Coach, a licensed realtor and loan officer that works here in the greater Houston area with a primary focus on the northwest side of Houston, mainly Tomball, Magnolia area. I'm working today this beautiful open house for an agent within our brokerage, Walzell Properties. Nova Lynn Barnett has this property on the market and ready to sell. And it's got a lot of unique character to it and a lot of draw and attraction to it. So I'm kind of happy to show you and tell you a little bit about this home. We'll just kind of start with location in general. This property is located, as I said, on Epps Street in downtown Tomball. Here's a good look at the street view in one direction, and I'll flip you around and let you get a good look at the street direction in the other area. And when they talk about real estate, they love to talk about location, location, location. And so certainly this home fits that bill in terms of the location being probably the #1 draw about this property. It's located in downtown Tomball, and if you don't know a whole lot about downtown Tomball, if you're from outside the area thinking about moving into Houston, Tomball is one of the areas that you are going to want to consider living in. From A-rated schools, the school district, Tomball ISD, is one of only 4 school districts in the greater Houston area that have received the A rating from the Texas Education Agency, the TEA. So it is outstanding schools. There are outstanding schools in this area here in Tomball. And then the second thing is just kind of the charm. When you think Houston, you think big city. And Tomball, Maine has maintained throughout the years a small town, country town, small feel. And some of the great things that they have to offer is a lot of character along 2920 with their shops, and they have a farmer's market on the weekends along right there in Old Main Street down in Tomball. And so the shopping, the restaurants are great around here. It's just a really great place to live and be close enough to Houston if you want to work in Houston or if you want to play in Houston, but to be able to be out a little bit away from so much of the traffic and some of the other things that maybe aren't as appealing to the city. It's a great place to live and a great place to be. So in talking to you a little bit about this property, I'm going to give you some rundowns through it. Again, the listing age is Nova Lynn Barnett, and it is 1228 square feet with central air and heat. It's in downtown Tomball. Lot sizes typically tend to be smaller, and so this lot size is actually 7,000 square feet, which makes it one of the probably the bigger lots here in the Tomball area. The home was built in 2017, and it's recently gone through a pretty significant price reduction. It was listed for $399.9 initially, or $399 even, and now it's dropped down to $319. Down to $310. It's down to $310. So hopefully, I don't know that this house is going to stay on the market a lot longer because it has some unique features, not just with the location of being here in Tomball, but the unique thing about these homes in this downtown area is that they can make great Airbnbs or short-term rentals. There was actually a little building in the back that I was kind of hopeful to see maybe. I thought there might even be the potential for an ADU, an additional dwelling unit, which could have skyrocketed the value to this property. But it's probably more of a workshop and more of a shed, and probably would not be a great fit for a additional dwelling unit. However, the potential for this to be an Airbnb with a 2-block walk down to Main Street and the shopping and so forth is great. We're about a block maybe away from the Tomball Little League facility, and then we're about 1 block away from the old First Baptist Church of Tomball. And the city bought out that church, and so that land now is going to become part of what's going to be now an arts center for Tomball. So Tomball isn't drying up and going away. The hometown feel and the artsy things and the shops and so forth, that's going to continue to grow here and only get bigger. So that's why I think this is a tremendous opportunity as an Airbnb. There are no restrictions on this property. It's city zoned, and it's zoned residential by the city, so there are no restrictions per se. And the tax rate on this property, tax rates can be big. You're in a new construction home in our area, you're going to be paying a tax rate of 3.0 or higher. The tax rate on this particular home is 2.2. So there are lower tax rates, homes with lower tax rates, but certainly this is a very reasonable tax rate on this home at 2.2. As I mentioned to you, it's in Tomball ISD. So the feeder patterns, if you're curious about what schools these, you have kiddos and you're curious about what schools they would attend, the feeder pattern goes from Tomball Elementary to Tomball Intermediate, then to Tomball Junior High, and Tomball High School. Do you see a theme there, maybe? But those are the traditional oldest schools in the district, and only 2 high schools in the district, Tomball and Tomball Memorial. They will be building a 3rd high school, but Tomball and Tomball Memorial in the feeder schools that feed into those 2 high schools are both phenomenal. There's not a better school in the district, and it's not better to be at this school or that school. They're both tremendous schools, and thus why the district as a whole has been able to maintain an A rating. So it's a single car garage, 2 bedrooms, 2 bath, and with that being said, I'm gonna flip this camera around if I can figure out how to do that, and take you on a tour and let you kind of see what the inside of this house looks like, and then we'll talk about the outside and some of the draws to the outside. So as we come up to the front of the home, it's got a neat little porch, and as I mentioned, single car garage with garage door opener. Walking into the property, you walk in, or into the home rather I should say, you walk into the living area, the main area. It's very well updated. You can see the laminate floors throughout. It's a very open floor plan, and it has double pane windows, so it's very energy efficient, which is really important here in the Houston area, obviously. But your living kind of flows into your dining area. And then off of the dining area are your washer dryer hookups. And then I love the kitchen with the glass black backsplash and the granite countertops. It's a really nice kitchen. It is electric, and you are on City of Houston water and sewer. So I mentioned it's 2 beds and 2 bathrooms. Here is what would be considered the primary suite in the back right corner of the home. The bedrooms are nice size bedrooms. Sometimes you get a new construction home at 1,200 square feet and they're squeezing 3 bedrooms in there, and it's just tight. So with this being a 2-bedroom home, the bedrooms are really a nice size. It has 2 closets, a his and her, if you will, both walk-in closets. And then the primary suite has its private bath with single vanity, lavatory, and a really pretty shower. Great tile work done on the shower. Come back out into the hallway from the living area, you'll have your second bath. Single vanity, lavatory, and again, a really nice shower. One of the things about the home is that, and sometimes in these 1,200 square foot homes, they'll drop these ceilings down to 8 foot. The ceilings are really tall in this house. I think they look like they're probably 9 feet, and it opens up the space. It makes it feel a lot bigger than probably 1,200 square feet normally feels. It does have an exterior door that leads to the garage. And then this bedroom has its own private closet. So we'll work our way back out, take a peek out the back and see what out back has in store for us. We got a really nice deck right off with a covered porch area. And then this was the shed that I was speaking to you earlier, that I was hoping maybe it could be converted to a additional dwelling unit. It probably would be too significant of an investment to try to convert this to an additional dwelling unit. You obviously would have to check with the city and the zoning rules to see if you could even do something like that. But I think the conversion might be a little costly on this conversion, and then the access to the backyard down the side of the house might make it a little awkward to be used as an additional dwelling unit. But it is a great building, a little simple little A-frame building, but it is in great condition, great shape. Makes a great workshop and area, and of course it looks like they designed it with the covered area over here for mowers and outdoor equipment and so forth. But a great little tool shed and great building to have in your backyard. Probably one of the unique and great things about the property that needs to be mentioned as well is that you have a ton of privacy behind you, and that privacy is there mainly because that property is owned by the city of Houston. And so you can see these fence lines and kind of get a feel and an idea for where the back edge of your property that you would own. And then the city of Houston owns that property behind you as an easement. So with the city owning that, you're always going to probably have this privacy back here. And as a matter of fact, they are protecting these oaks. There's some oaks back in through here. You can see this one beautiful one that kind of overhangs actually onto your property. And it's just a beautiful tree with great shade. But all of this is owned by the city of Houston and protected. So this will be a nice little spot to have privacy and kind of not have to worry about somebody coming in behind you on a construction, new construction, or building a home or dropping a business. So that's 304 Epps Street. I think in determining highest and best use, obviously, if you're wanting, there's a lot of people that have moved out of Houston and just like living as their primary residence here in downtown Tomball. They enjoy some of the amenities here locally that they can take part in with the shopping and the restaurants and so forth. But I also think that this is a tremendous opportunity to scoop this one up, turn it into an Airbnb, and whether families are coming in town for baseball tournaments or coming in maybe in town to visit other family, maybe they're here just to kind of come in town and shop and have a girls trip. But there's a ton of potential here for this being a great Airbnb. If you'd like to know anything that I left out or anything that I missed with more information about this property, please DM me or reach out through my profile. You'll see my contact information. I'm a lender, as I mentioned previously. If you're not pre-qualified and you want to look and just kind of see what price points you need to get started at and start looking at, or if you're ready to go home shopping, I'd love to help you. I'd love to work with you. DM me, send me a message through text or email, or give me a call, and I'd look forward to visiting with you. Thanks for taking a look at 304 Epps Street in downtown Tomball.